Sorry, I'm here. Let me get Instagram fired up here, and then we'll get rolling. Crazy day, crazy day. How are you guys doing? Good to see all of you. Lisa checking in from Memphis. Good evening to you. Let's go all the way to the back to the beginning. I'm sure I missed a couple of you as you popped in. Libby's here. Dan is Winnipeg. We're international right out of the gate. Roxanne checks in from Newfoundland right behind him. Very cool. Anna is here, woo, from Brainbridge, Georgia. She's on the show tonight. Susan from California, good evening to you. Corey checking in from Connecticut. Bob is smiling always. Sarah's here. Emma is here. Karen checking in from Long Island. Heather from Ontario, good evening to you. Let's see. Nicole says, hello from California. I have to bug out 7 p.m. for a meeting. Whew. Debbie from Rockford, Illinois. Minneapolis checks in with Melissa. Good evening to you. Yeah, Shannon said it's invisible, Mike. Yeah, it was. I wanted to get going on time, but I wasn't ready, so I had to go do some stuff. But I'm here now. Massachusetts in the house on Instagram. Good evening to you. Let's see. Lee is here checking in. Mary is here. Bev is here. Let's go down the line. Linda checking from Indiana. Margie from St. Pete. Good evening to you. Mom's watching. Woohoo! Haven't seen Mom online in forever, so good evening to you, Mom. How are you guys? Cheryl checking in from Virginia. Melody's here. Debbie says, come back. I'm here. Shannon checking in from Denver. What a great time we had out in Denver, wasn't it? Canton, Ohio's on the map. Ding! Southwest Washington. Jennifer's checking in. Massachusetts. Kathy's checking in. Man, fun stuff. Melissa's here. Lee, I got you. Liz is here. Debbie from Rockford, Illinois. Good evening. Kirsten from Michigan. Good evening to you. Lyndhurst, Illinois. Ellen is here. Lori from Warner Robins. Good evening. Kearney, Nebraska. Shannon is here. Danielle is also from Nebraska. Very cool. Elaine from Lansdowne, Pennsylvania. Rob Ann checking in on Instagram. Good evening. Monica is here. Fro. That's all it says. Hi, Fro. Okay. Very good. So yeah, Leah's here. We can begin. Brenda is checking in from Milwaukee. Hello. Brenda from Cincinnati. Very fun. Dayton, Ohio. Sarah's here. Salt Lake City. Glenda. Woohoo! Glenda is another one of those crazy people that made it all the way to Denver when we did the Denver run. Very fun. Coming up this week, right, is Philadelphia. Raise your hand if you're going to be in Philly. Woo-hoo. Raise your hand. Philadelphia coming up. It's not exactly Philly. I get that. So it's, I think we're probably an hour from Philly. You know, but I'm sure people who live in this tiny little town that we're going to, if you ask them where they live and they told you the name of the town, they would follow it up with Philadelphia. So we're going to Philadelphia. That's what I'm calling it. We're going to move out from there. Coming up this weekend, Saturday morning, Philadelphia, 5K. You ready? I'm ready. I'm ready to get this thing done. Karaoke Nurse is checking in. Good evening. Lee says 222nd blue dot of 226, 2018. Dude's killing it. Lake Hellsnore, California. Renee is here. Nora says, when you're out of beer, stop drinking beer. Bud, stop drinking Bud. Hello from Southern California. You know, so I don't know if you follow last night. Yeah, the reason we didn't do a show last night is last night I had to. I'm sorry, I had to. There are things that take priority. I had to go play kickball at the AAA ballpark, Budweiser versus Jim Beam. Had to go. You know, you get an invite and they say they're going to invite about 100 people. You do those sort of things. So I went down to there, and yeah, so when you're out of beer, stop drinking beer. In our case, it was when the keg is empty, stop drinking beer. That's kind of how that was the rule last night. So luckily I had to drive home, so therefore I limited myself to one beer. That worked out very nicely because I didn't want to even come. We were there for 3.5 hours, one beer out of 3.5 hours early on. I think I'm okay. I don't take chances there at all. So Now, should have Ubered, and then I would have had more beer, but that's all a different conversation. Glenda's checking in. I got you. Let's see. Jenny from New Jersey, Central Illinois. Diane's here. Karen, good evening to you. Let's see. Becky. So Becky's asking Renee if she got evacuated from the fire. Whew. That stuff's crazy out there, isn't it? I got a friend of mine. I don't know if Chris will join us. Chris is on Instagram often. He is very often. He's real close to the fires as well. So I keep checking in with him on occasion. Renee's asking, my mom is here. Yeah, mom is a Weight Watcher. So mom is in the room somewhere. Where's Marsha? Marsha's over on Instagram. Last I saw her. And then Jeannie's here. Good evening to you. Lacey from Ohio. Let's see. Northern Illinois. Lynette is here. Melinda's saying, hi, Mike's mom. Ta from Puyallup. Good evening to you. Shannon, Pam, and Glenda. Woohoo. I love it. Dina from French Lick. Good evening to you. Noblesville. Carolyn. Woohoo. I was just there. Right? Not too far along. Hello from California. Kirby Love 97. Good evening to you. Karen Bates checking in from Westerville, Ohio. Longview, Washington. Betty from Idaho checking in on YouTube. Longview, Washington. Jennifer, I got you. Yes, you were over here earlier, weren't you? You were on this one, now you're over here. Woo! Jeannie's got her ticket for Indy. Awesome! Oh, that's going to be so fun. So much fun. Indy's going to be crazy because I got an email today that I can officially share now. September 5th. On September 5th, I'll fly into New York City. Still working the logistics. We'll do taping of a television show called Let's Talk with Jody Daly. We'll tape that show on September 6th. September 7th, I'll move over into Delaware and attend an event in Delaware. And then on the 7th, again, fly home. We'll run the Indy Ultimate on the 8th and just probably collapse on the 9th. But yeah, so September 6th, I'll be in New York City. So that's kind of new. If you haven't, if you're in the New York City area, I don't have anything special yet planned, but we're going to plan something more than likely for the evening of the 5th, potentially the evening of the 6th. Got to get those logistics ironed out. Once I figure out what my flight is, I will let you know that. But New York City on September 5th, and then Indianapolis back on the 6th. But of course, Philadelphia this weekend. Man, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Rob Ann says you need to commit to Indy. You absolutely do. There's no question about it. So, Chicago, Patty M is checking in. Mary, I got you. Hello. Diane is here. Minnesota, Lisa's here. All right, Kathy's gonna be in Philly. Woohoo! Love it. See you in Nottingham. Is that where we're going, Colette? Is it actually in Nottingham? I forget the name of the town. But yeah, Maine. Lisa's here from Maine. I used to live in Maine. You guys know that. Very cool. All right, let me scroll down. Jeannie, I get that, right? It's not, if it's not Philly, it's not Philly. I understand, but it's close enough. Like if you pull like a big map, it's Philly, you know. So, or Nottingham if you're like I say I live in Indianapolis to most people, because if I say I live in Carmel, Indiana, most people go, you live where? Unless you're from here, you have no idea where Carmel is. But if I say Indianapolis, you get it. So that's the same thing. I'm going to Philadelphia. Whereabouts? Nottingham. I hope that's okay, Nottingham people. I hope you do the same thing. I'm positive you do. Robin from Dayton checking in. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to scroll through a little bit. Aaron's here. First-time visitor from Fairfield Glade, Tennessee. Sharon, good evening to you. We ring a bell for the first time, folks. Ooh, thanks for being here for the very, very, very first time. Love it. Yeah, and you're right. Denver wasn't in Denver either. Denver was in a different town. Whew. Lisa, first time you watched. Very cool. Henry's asking who won. I missed that, so I'm not sure. Oh, sorry, who won kickball? Yeah. Well, it was a tie. We're going to leave it at that. It was a tie. Too funny. Yeah, but no, it was fun hanging out. I mean, it was there was 100 of us there, maybe 100. Had the whole entire stadium to ourselves, and played kickball, and celebrated. And this is totally unrelated to this, but it was a partnership between Budweiser and Jim Beam. So you'll see more about that coming up soon, for sure. Woohoo! Daniela says, thanks everyone. I'm online only. This feels like a meeting to me. Karen says, love your shirt. So yeah, this is from this is camo, another camo shirt. A little NASCAR up. Yeah, Westminster where we were. All right, I'm going to skip ahead. If I missed you, I apologize. Man, there's tons of comments. So I apologize for missing all you, but I think we're here to get a show in, are we? Episode 212. That's the game plan. That's what we're working on. This is, hopefully you were able to, sorry, Facebook. Yeah, let's get 212 done. Let's see. So Harper says, hello, everyone from the Bronx. Very cool. So yeah, so we'll be in New York City, September 6th. So hopefully you join us there if you live near New York City. I'm wondering, maybe I have no plan. So I'm thinking out loud here. So hopefully we don't get bombarded, but shoot me an email if you're near enough New York City, downtown New York City. If you're close enough to there and you're interested in meeting up on the 5th or 6th, shoot me an email on air at fatdag.com. Specifically say New York in the subject line, and I will keep you involved in whatever plans we make in New York City, if we make any. So that's the other piece too. So that's the game plan there. But September 5th, 6th, and 7th, I'll be in New York City for the taping of a cool television show. So interested in learning. You'll see all about that as it gets pushed out as well. So, all right, let's do this, shall we? I didn't do a mic check. I'd usually do a pre-mic check, but I didn't get a chance to do that this time. So we're going to see what technical glitches we come up with. So, cool. Let's do it. A new version of GarageBand is available. Would you like to upgrade now? No. Now, sorry, not upgrading GarageBand right now. Mic check, testing, test. Test. Cool, looks good. That's good. Perfect. Cool, yay. Gonna love it. All right, we're rolling back there. For those of you who, a small handful of you who used to get a text message when the show went live, that service is now, we've officially used all those credits up. I don't believe I'm going to renew that. So if text message was your primary way to get notified, Twitter, it will now be the only way that you'll know. And of course, some of you are so kind, when it tweets out, you post it in the Wise Wingman Facebook group to let the rest of those know. But Twitter, man, makes it so easy. I do a decent job of sticking to one Twitter account, so you can turn notifications on WhysAdvice and turn them off for Fat Dag. That'll keep you in the loop without being overloaded with all the crazy stuff. So, but if you saw on Twitter today, just a couple minutes ago, Fat Dag Twitter account, I did an interview today with Connecting Vets. They did a great interview, and they did an awesome write-up. So go to Facebook and check that out. Very happy with that article. But on your mark, get set. You guys ready? Claudia says 330 miles from New York City. I live in Indy. I'm making it. Just saying. Cheers. Man, I love water. I love water. I love water. I don't know. I love water. It's that simple. I love water. Fun. So I looked into today as well. I looked into finding a way to mail these. It's not worth it. It truly is not worth it. They're $1.99 at IKEA. If you live near an IKEA, get one. Otherwise, the post office when I went to today, they said it would cost anywhere from 15 to 20 bucks or so to mail them by the time they package them and ship them, and and then so I would have to, it's just crazy. So IKEA, and someone said you can buy them online at IKEA. That'd be kind of cool. So anyway, cool. Melody says, thanks to those who post about the upcoming podcast. Greatly appreciated. So cool. Are you ready? Episode 212. Here we go. Turn all the phones off here. I am your host, Fat Dag. You're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at Wise Advice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 212 of Wise Advice, and always fun to hang out with you guys live on Facebook just before the show. You guys make this stuff fun. I look at the download numbers in the app, and I see those who are, I don't know, right now about 130, 120 or so folks watching online as we do the show live. Jason just joined in on Instagram. It's so fun to do the show live. I turn around and look at the download numbers, and of course, many of you are certainly just strictly downloading the podcast at your convenience, and you're not tuning into the live show. But I think it's two separate dynamics. Those of us who join in the live show, we have a little community. We have our own little group where we all come in, we say hi to each other. Jason says he's back. Anna's saying hi to Anna, and Lee's here, and it's just a cool community where people are just chatting back and forth as we do the live show. I would encourage you, if you haven't already, go to Facebook, go to Instagram, follow me on YouTube. You can watch the show live most nights. Twitter does the best job of notifying you when the show is going to be live. I keep the calendar updated there. But certainly you can find the rerun. You can find the podcast anywhere you can find a podcast. The best way is to just go right to the App Store. Go to your App Store, search Wise Advice for Fat Tag, download the app, and when you get the app, that's the number one way for you to certainly consume the content. Outside of that, you can catch it on Spotify, iHeartRadio. I'm trying to think of all the places, Stitcher Radio, anywhere you can find a podcast. We certainly are there, and welcome to all of you. A lot of new folks joining in. I just saw on YouTube, it says hi from Dallas, and is for nurse checking in. So what a fun community. But let's dive right into this. I want to get this information out to you. I always appreciate when you guys write in. The stories that you share are truly incredible. It's the number one reason why this show becomes successful, is because you've written in to let other people know how awesome you're doing, and then they believe at that point that they can be awesome as well. And that's the coolest part of this whole journey. So out of Illinois, Lynette opens the show. She says, hey, dear Fat Dag / Mike, I told myself I would send you a message when I lost 50 pounds. Well, it happened. I reached that goal 2 weeks ago. I was so happy. I rewarded myself with a star charm for my Pandora bracelet. I have set up similar rewards for myself for Wonderland, 75 pounds, 100 pounds, and then goal. I've struggled with weight and low self-esteem issues for a very long time. I come from a family where a lot of our family members struggle with weight. I remember being called fatso in kindergarten, and that stuck with me for a very long time. Kids can be so mean. Back in 1990, I lost 65 pounds on Nutrisystem. I kept it off for a few years, but then after 3 miscarriages, a house fire, and having a husband that enjoys food, I started to gain weight. I don't know how many times I joined Weight Watchers, but each time I did, I lost weight. but I never reached lifetime. I rejoined in the summer of 2016. I worked the program and lost the amount of weight that I needed to lose for my health insurance plan. Then Christmas came and I gained weight. Every year, the Christmas season has been a struggle. But I'm happy to say that 2017 was a better year. I continue to go to Weight Watcher meetings, but really I wasn't working the plan up until last October. I needed to lose the stated amount of weight for my health insurance plan again. I made that goal, and my Weight Watcher leader asked me what my next goal was. She said to keep going. About that time, I finally discovered Connect, and then I discovered you and your podcast. Your podcast and the fact that you believe in us has helped me immensely. When I hear or read about people successfully losing 100 pounds or more, it gives me hope that I will also have great success and I will eventually make it to lifetime. I have 58 more pounds to lose, but like many others, I believe this time is different and I will eventually get there. Slow and steady wins the race. Thank you so much for your concern and your care for all of us. You have a big heart, Lynette. And then she says, P.S. I will let you know when I reach Wonderland. Lynette, what a cool email. I can't wait to hear when you get into Wonderland. And congratulations on your 50-pound loss. Incredible focus to get you to this point. Clearly, you've gone through some of life's bigger hurdles, bigger challenges, and you've made it through. And I'm proud of you for sticking with it. That's what this is all about. I had a conversation earlier this evening, and I said, we did a survey. 100% of the people, 100% of the people who made goal did it by not quitting. It's quite simple. If you just don't quit and you continue to make progress, that is how you win. But as soon as you quit, then that takes that goal off the table. The prize is no longer available to you. So that is the game set that we're in now, is just strictly working to do that. Congratulations on your first 50. One of the things I thought was really interesting as I looked through your email, the piece that really made me it jumped off the paper for me is back in 1990 you lost 65 pounds on Nutrisystem. Well, think about this for a second. If you have a different level of success going. You know you can lose weight with Weight Watchers. You know you can lose weight with Nutrisystem. So think about this. The secret ingredient is you. Yeah. So really, it doesn't matter what tool you use. You have the opportunity to make sure you can use whatever tool you need to get to whatever goal you set. I want you to dig into that. You have that with you. Own it. Say, actually, this is me. It's not the program. The program's great, by the way, right? Both programs do very well. But the secret ingredient, the secret sauce, is you getting it done, and that is the piece I want you to celebrate. I want you to know that part. As you continue to work this plan, I want you to know that you're the one doing it. You're the one making it happen. You're out there day in, day out, making the right choice to do that. Very, very proud of you for doing that. Now, go all the way back to kindergarten. It's funny how our brains remember this stuff. It's how my name, Fat Dag, sticks around. Obviously, you were called Fatso in kindergarten. It's terrible. Early on in my military career, I was given the nickname Fat Dag. And so what I've done is the same thing that you've done. Is I said, yeah, people can be mean. Kids can be mean. But man, how fun is it now where I can say, no, that's my name. I own it. You can call me whatever you want at that point. But the reality is I've completely changed my life. And all you have in that world is words to throw at me. I've completely changed my life and just continued to do the amazing things that you're doing, and that's what makes this whole thing work. You're absolutely right, and the podcast is so incredibly inspiring because in the Facebook group, the Wise Wingman group, you see so many people posting stories of their amazing transformation and their amazing success. And when you see other people having the success, and then you read about the rest of their life and you see other things they're going through, it simply lets you know that, okay, what I'm trying to accomplish has been done. That's the coolest part about this journey is I'm not asking you to do anything that hasn't been done before. Countless times this has been done. To find the amount of people who've lost 100 pounds or more on the planet, sure, it's a small group of people, but the reality is there are so many people who have done this. And that should give you hope. Not only that, it gives you a roadmap and it gives you someone to say, okay, if they can do it, I can do it. It's why it's very important to share, because every single person is at a different part in this journey, and we all need to let other people know that this can be done, that what we're doing is doable. Once you learn that, I mean, you think about, I'm going really on a tangent here, but once you think about like the very first time someone put an airplane in the air, then everyone else said, oh, well, if it's doable, let's improve on that. So that's what you're after, is I'm just trying to get you to see what you're trying to do is completely doable, and I want you to get it done. Congratulations again on the 50 pounds lost, and let's hear when you get to Wonderland. That'll be an amazing celebration, certainly right in at that point. Other people need to understand and hear what it's like crossing that major threshold in a weight loss journey. It's incredibly inspiring, so keep up the amazing work for sure. Out of Georgia, joining us live on Facebook as well, Anna writes this. She says, hello, Fat Dag. Hey, I've been wanting to write this email for a long time. I had the amazing opportunity of meeting you at the first stop of your international tour in Biloxi back in April. I keep a powerful memory of you running with me the last stretch of the 5K. You're pointing out the finish line and telling me, can you see that clock out there? Yes, that's the finish line. You can do this. Yes, you can do this. You were sure that I continued running till I crossed the finish line. The same way I'm running now, so I keep my goal in mind. You reinforced in me that you believed in me, and so I believed in myself. I did then, and I do now. Thanks so much, Mike. I wanted to share and celebrate that I've been back at Lifetime for 6 months now, thanks to you. I had reached goal 3 times in the past, but I never kept it off for this long. I made the mistake of thinking that I was able to do it on my own, and I got complacent, and I gained some of the weight back. This time has been so different. Your podcast made it possible because of all the support, the motivation, the inspiration that I received from listening to you, and the stories of the fellow Weight Watcher members, the amazing Wise Wingman Facebook group, as well as Connect. There is something that has been over and over in my mind the last few days since I listened to episode 207, where you told us everything comes down to setting habits. The habits we do every single day, are they working for us or working against us? Then you encourage us to find them and what we do every single day, things that we put on autopilot, and then access them. What you wanted us to do is change the habits that are working against us and develop them into habits that work for us. Well, then last night I went to my Weight Watcher meeting, and the subject was about habits as well. So I feel compelled to write to you. I remember reading The Power of Habit book by Dr. Charles Duhigg a few months ago. As a matter of fact, the weekly mentions this amazing book. I learned that the habit loop, cue, routine, reward, and how to crave the reward, choose the right cue, do the routine, and get it done. I strongly recommend this book. I've learned that motivation itself is not enough. We need to create good, healthy habits to stay disciplined and focused. When motivation fades, the good, healthy habits will kick in, and they will keep us going. I wish everybody would take the time to access their habits. After all, we create habits, and then our habits become us. Thank you, Fat Dag. I will see you in February in Atlanta. You promised, Anna. Atlanta coming up. We'll probably make a 2019 stop in Atlanta. That is on the radar, absolutely for sure. It is a promise that I made that I fully intend to keep. We'll see how that comes and goes when you get to February. Let's talk about you. Back at Lifetime, first 6 months. Congratulations on that. How cool is that, where you now say, okay, I'm now entering a new part of my journey, a place that maybe I haven't previously been before. It was such a fun opportunity to kick off the international tour in Biloxi, Ocean Springs specifically. And, it's one of those, that first race, I had no idea what to expect. And I just knew that I wanted to run a 5K, and a bunch of you signed up online. I said, I'm going to go check this out and see if we can build something here. The coolest thing that happened from that race is certainly the relationships that you develop by meeting people that you haven't met before. We bring people together for a common goal, and then you meet each other. You get to know each other in your own area, and then I pull out of town, and then you stay there and go, okay, I have friends here that are going to help me on this journey. And it was so fun running with each and every one of you. You're right, and I kept pointing out the finish line. I'm a big believer in finish lines have a place in this journey. So as we are running it, it's important to know where we're going to stop. That way you know at what point do I need to push a little harder? At what point do I need to conserve some energy? At what point do I need to balance my life differently? Because I need to know when this journey ends. Now, as you saw, we crossed the finish line of success. We crossed the 5K. We had an amazing race. I turned around and ran another race. So just because we crossed that finish line doesn't mean the journey was over. It meant that race was over. So that race was very, very powerful in this entire thing. And I'm glad that you end up crossing it with me as well. Keep doing all the amazing things that you're doing. Back at Lifetime for 6 months. Don't make the mistake this time. Now that you recognize it and own it, that you're getting complacent and say, maybe I can do this on my own. I think so many of us have had that same thought where we just want to get to the point where we just kind of feel normal, right? We want to say, I want to fit in, and we believe that normal, which doesn't exist, by the way, but we believe that normal is someone who is in complete control of their entire life. They eat whatever they want, and they just simply don't gain weight. Well, that is not how we are going to operate. So many people want to get to goal, and when you get there, they want to just go back to their old life. It's very critical at this point that as you are working towards your goal, that you do develop habits that you can put on autopilot. And so, here you guys know this, my day is completely scheduled. We're doing this show tonight. This is my third job of the day. Went to work in the morning, worked all day, did my Weight Watcher leader meeting tonight, and then certainly the podcast. So this is my third job today. I relied very much on autopilot today. There were parts of my day, and it was absolutely great. Breakfast was 4 points, and lunch was I had a grilled chicken sandwich, which is 0. The bun was probably 4, and a fruit cup, so a very light lunch. And then on the way home, my habit is I do one or two things. I either hit Chick-fil-A on the way home from work, from my Weight Watcher meeting, or I hit Jimmy John's on the way as well. Jimmy John's, I take a sub. The habit is I take the sub, I order it, I cut it in half, I have them scoop the bread out, I move the meat to one side, it ends up being a 7-point sandwich. So having those habits, things that I do every single time, got me to the point today where it completely saved me, because of knowing that I wanted to do a show tonight. If I didn't have a healthy habit built in, I would have had to then come home, look for something to eat quickly, and I wouldn't have been prepared properly. That's why I want you to build these habits in, is because when you get to the point in your life where you become busy, I want you to be able to fall back on a healthy version of you that just does what you need to do so you can focus on the things you need to do next. That's what the routine is. Your routine will save you if it's a good routine. If your routine is not healthy, does not align with your goal, then that same routine will put you in a tailspin. So all I'm asking you to do is look at the habits that you're working on, that are working for you. Find the ones that are that certainly are aligned with your goals. If they're aligned with your goal, continue to build them. Find a cue to remind you to do it, and then find a reward system that says I want to reward myself for hitting this habit. But habits, for the most part, many of us, we do the same things over and over and over and over again. Are those things changing your life or putting you back to where you started? The quicker you add new healthy habits to your journey, the better off you're going to be long term. So, Anna, thank you again for driving down. It was awesome to see you during the race. I can't believe you made the, I don't know, what was it, 5, 6, 7 hours or so drive for you. So you are the benchmark, let's say. That first race was cool because a couple of you drove for 8, 9 hours over, and I laugh now when I say I'm going to be in Philadelphia this weekend, and someone always says something, wow, Philadelphia, I'd love to meet you there, but it's an hour from my house. And I'm like, well, I'm coming from Indianapolis, and the first race we did, people came from 8, 9 hours away to be a part of this. So don't let the distance distract you. Don't let it get in your way. We'll see you in Philly, and we'll get it done. And of course, Anna, we'll see you in Atlanta next year. That's the plan. Next up, Nicole writes in. She says, well, hi, Mike. Hey, well, it's been a few months since I've written in. The last time I wrote in, I told you I'd send you an update when I hit my 25-pound loss. Well, that was May of this year. Why didn't I immediately email you and shout it from the rooftops? I've been asking myself that same question since May. It could be because I kept seeing myself as the woman who has had this weight and this food issue for as far back as I can remember. It might be because I didn't think that 25 pounds was worth celebrating. I couldn't figure it out why until now. I did as you suggested over the various podcasts. I sat down today and I put pen to paper. As I'm typing this, my reason for not writing in and my why flashes before my eyes. I didn't think that I was worth celebrating. Me, this person looking back at me in the mirror, I didn't think that I was worth it. Why? Because the life that shaped me as a young, the life that time and time support me as an adolescent, the life that didn't play fair with abuse and poor decisions, told me that I wasn't. Life happened. And it's that life that I let derail me. Before my 10-year anniversary trip in June, I had lost a total of 35 pounds. I was so excited. I gave myself permission to enjoy my vacation and be free of tracking. I knew I would gain a couple pounds back, but I was steadfast in my resolve to get back on the scale and back on plan when we returned. Or so I thought. After we returned, I didn't track consistently for the last 2 months. I hardly tracked at all. I broke away from my tracker and my workout routine, and I gained back 5 pounds. I started feeling fat and lethargic, and I lacked motivation. Don't get me wrong, the time spent with family, friends, and my husband, and our entire 10-year anniversary trip, or the various birthdays, family weddings, the last 2 months, they were absolutely amazing. I wouldn't trade those memories for the world. But that life sat on my shoulder and said, see, you've come so far. You don't have to triumph in this version of me. I want the version of me that picked herself up off the ground, got back into her tracker, and got blue dots. Version of me that got to the gym yesterday and pushed herself outside of her comfort zone. And I want the life that supports me and tells me that I can, and I undoubtedly will do this. That I will meet my goal and that I am worth it. That I am worth fighting tooth and nail for, and that I am worth the sweat and the effort. I want that life, that me, that is my why. So I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating losing 2 pounds last week and this week. I'm celebrating my blue dots. I'm celebrating this life and this me. And Mike, I celebrate you as well. Your words, your effort, your focus has given this life to this woman and pushed out the other one and pushed her out of the way. Thank you for that. I celebrate you by wishing you good focus until the next update, Nicole. And Nicole is MSGARESHCAKES on the Connect app. So Nicole, congratulations. You are absolutely worth it. You are building an amazing life. 25 pounds is incredible. You can't do that on accident. You can't put your mind to it and say, hey, you know what? I want to wake up tomorrow 25 pounds lighter. Not happening. You have to, day in, day out, remind you that you're worth it. Remind you that your plan that you're working on is doable. That is how you lose 25 pounds. You know, so many times, you know, we see, you know, on social media, we see folks who post, you know, amazing transformation photos. And generally, you know, the most dramatic photos are comparisons of people who've lost hundreds of pounds. 25 pounds is 400 ounces, Lee points out. So celebrate every single ounce because you worked your tail off to get to that point. But as we watch the dramatic transformation photos, you know, what we don't truly understand is that every single ounce along the way is you changing your life, you figuring out the piece of your life that you're worth it, and you're going after and getting it. And so the change that happens internally is significantly more important than the change that happens externally. Externally is what the world sees. Externally is there for everyone else who you interact with to get a visual. But internally, when you make that change, and you make the change internally, you may be the only one that knows it, but boy, do you feel something completely different inside. And that's what you're after. That I can sense in your email, that's where you're at. You're building this whole new life inside your own head, which is an amazing opportunity now for you to get some clarity and say, yeah, I actually did this. And so I'm glad you finally took the advice that I give. And I want to do a survey. I really wish I knew the answer. Of the thousands of people who listen to this, it's been downloaded, I don't know, 2.3 million times, something like that. But of the million times I've said, and you've heard it, it's been said throughout the universe that write down your why. Write down why you're doing this. Man, I would venture to say that half of you haven't. So you heard it right here. If you write down your why, and you're going to hear it coming up in another email, but Nicole says is you finally put it to paper, and that's what made her go, oh, wait a minute, I get this. And so, wow, so you actually did this by writing it down. It brings some clarity to what you're going through, and you absolutely did it. Continue to look at that amazing person in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm worth this. I truly am. And I'm very proud of the part of your email where you went on vacation and you had a plan for your vacation. As we go through this process, it's very important to completely change our lives. We're doing this for ourselves first. Our family gets the benefit of having us around second. Being able to go on a vacation, on an anniversary celebration, and enjoy the moment is something that I really want all of us to do. There are many different ways to do it. You get to define what that means. So I'm not going to put a limit on it. I'm not going to put a framework around it. But the fact that you put a plan into action to go enjoy your family, enjoy your husband, all the various weddings and all that stuff, it was absolutely amazing. That is why you're doing all this. It doesn't do you any good to get to goal if you're going to, at that point be the only person left in living in solitary confinement. So continue to celebrate with your family, continue to live with them. This time, know that as you resolve to get back on the scale as quick as possible, knowing that that is a danger zone for you, the next time you take advantage of that opportunity, have a different game plan going forward. Just recognize that, okay, what I tried to do last time was a great plan, perfect plan, not so perfectly executed. So now we work on, okay, how do we make the execution different? How do we do something different this time to get different results? That is how you continue to do all the amazing things that you're doing. You're absolutely worth a 25-pound weight loss. You're worth even more than that. You are worth every ounce of blood, sweat, and tears you put into this journey, because that internally has given you a new freedom internally. And I'm so proud to read about it and hear about it and celebrate with you. So keep up the amazing work. You got this. Let's continue to celebrate losing 2 pounds this week. Next week, you're rocking it. Keep up the amazing work. Next up, out of Illinois, Jacob writes in and says, hi, Mike. Hey, as you know, I started my journey at 310-ish pounds years ago. I made it down to 190-ish, but I'm back up to 225. So after listening to episode 209 and being absolutely inspired by everyone, I decided to actually write down my whys. I always had them in the back of my head, but I still needed to see them written down on paper. Well, that's not an easy thing. Well, partly because my handwriting is horrible. I also use humor to deflect uncomfortable situations. Anyways, I basically wrote a letter to myself asking why. Why struggle with the journey? Why work so hard to become and stay healthy? It comes so easy to others. Maybe I'm just supposed to be like this. Well, at the end, I started my list, and some of them may have seemed cliche, but I needed to see them. As I listed them out, they started to become harder. However, it was my last why and my biggest one. It hit me so hard. It took my breath away, and I cried as my hand trembled writing it out. Because I'm worth it. It becomes very difficult to keep that in mind. To know that I am worth the fight, worth the battle, worth the struggles, through it all, I am worth it. Thank you for all that you do, and thanks for listening. Your friend, Jacob. Dude, I am incredibly proud of you. Thank you for writing this in. I had the opportunity, obviously, you know this, when you came to Indianapolis and let me know you're in town, and I made it a priority to go hang out with you because you're just an inspiring dude, and I wanted to pull off of some of your inspiration and just kind of, man to man, kind of just have this weight loss conversation, which I think is slightly different for some of us guys, even though it doesn't have a gender role, but you get where I'm going with that. But having the opportunity to just kind of sit with you and just kind of chat, I got to know you in a different sense than just simply through the email. And so I got to know you in a different sense than just simply through the email. While you're in Indy, and so all that fun that we had, all that the time that we shared together, watching your wife complete a half marathon, um, all that happens because you're worth it, man. You're absolutely worth it. Your whole family is worth you being worth it. And so as you finally said, okay, I need to put this down on paper, it's exactly as I said, it happens. Is and I encourage every single person to say, start writing it down. If you haven't written it down, it's twice in this one episode I've talked about writing your why down. If you haven't written down your why, I want you to do it right now. Because exactly what happened to Jacob, it happens to most every single one of us, is you start writing it down, and you do. You start off with, oh, because I want my clothes to fit. Oh, because I want to fit in whatever. Oh, because whatever. And you start writing down some seemingly simple things, and then as you start getting deeper into your list, it does become harder, and it forces the brain to dig a little deeper into the creative part of it and pull out things like, because I'm worth it. And very often when you get to that point in your journey, it brings tears. If it brings tears, then you know you're on track. And then now you have something to reread and revisit as you continue on the journey that you set out for yourself. I told you on episode 209 that you have two options. There's only two ways to get back to your starting point. And one of them is to go back to your starting point. The other is to read about it. And so I'd much rather have you read about your starting point than to ever have to go back and relive it. Putting this on paper gives you the opportunity that any day, any time, to say, I can tap into this mindset, this emotional mindset that's going to control the entire journey. I now have it on paper, so I don't ever have to relive it. I can just now live a healthy, happy life because you're worth it. You're absolutely worth it. And I'm sure, just like you, if you look at my paper, my handwriting is terrible too. I take notes all day long and I go back and reread them, and I can't even read it. I have to-do lists that are pages long that I don't even have a clue what they say. And so I'm just hoping at some point someone reminds me that, hey, you remember you said you're going to do this, and I'm like, oh, that's what that note was. So I get the bad handwriting thing, but so even if your handwriting is terrible, we've now proven that you can celebrate regardless. So Jacob, Instagram, Rob on Instagram says it's the powerful stuff, and I agree with it. Thanks for sharing your journey with us, and thanks for sharing the inner workings of what's going on internally. We're trying to change what we look like on the outside. We can't do that without starting on the inside. We have to build this all the way from the inside of our heart and slowly let it go out. And as it continues to expand, the outside of us contracts into that shell, and we're absolutely changing our life. But we do it from the inside. It starts with you writing down your story. It starts with you sharing your story. It starts with other people saying, hey man, if he can do it, I can do it. If she can do it, I can do it. There's nothing in this process that is absolutely undoable. It's just doable. And when you finally figure it out, we celebrate. What is it that you're celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com, click on the WhysAdvice podcast link to send in your celebration. You can send an email in directly from the app. If you have the app, go right into the settings there, send an email. Certainly you can email in directly at onair@thatdag.com. Send in your comments, questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. I want you to email in your celebrations, and I want you to email in your story, because I really want you to be proud of what you're doing. You heard in this episode more than once people who finally have taken the opportunity to put pen to paper and write their journey out completely changes everything about their journey. As they share that, as you can share it, as you sit here listening to other people's story, you're pulling out pieces that you can relate to. You're pulling out things in every single story that go, oh, I get that. I understand that. We are a community of people who understand each other. That's why I want you to share it. It's very easy to go find people who don't understand us. Let's share this with the people who actually do understand us. And that's how we continue to build on each other and change our lives together. Well, that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. I wish you good focus. Whoop, whoop. 212 in the books. Renee is saying no glasses. I started printing the font bigger on the paper. Don't ask me why I didn't think of that before. But yeah, started printing them a little bigger. Shocking. Melody says 212 in the books. Anna, woohoo, that was amazing because you were on it. Becky says great episode. Rob, got some flexing guns going on. Very cool. It's not even Friday yet. Cool. Anna, you're very, very, very welcome. It was so fun meeting you in Atlanta. Sorry, in Ocean Springs. And Atlanta's coming up. But no, I appreciate you coming down. So very fun. Maria says, great podcast. Going to listen to this one again tomorrow, sharing it with friends who haven't had a chance to listen to you yet. So this way is tell people to get the app. It's that simple. Get the app. Go to your app. Everybody know if you have a smartphone, you know how to download apps. It's that simple. Go to your app store, type in. That's the easiest way to have someone share. If you try to tell people, listen, my mom's online right now. So if I said, Mom, listen to my podcast, she has no idea. She does now, but back in the day, she would have no idea. Mom, download a podcast app, look for the RSS feed, subscribe to it. No, Mom wouldn't get that. But I said, Mom, download the app. Boom, she's on it. So that's why I say, tell folks, go download the app. And that's the easiest way to share. And I appreciate you sharing because that's what keeps the community growing. And then the more we grow, the more we can share with each other, the more inspiration we get. So very, very fun. Let's see. So Diane says she's on the way. She's on the road, on the way to Philly, kind of. Can't wait. See you soon. Linda says, one of my whys to take pressure off my joints by weighing less. That's a great one, for sure. Gotcha. So Maria says one of her friends does not have a smartphone, so we love that you have this on Facebook. And certainly go to WhysAdvice.com. That's the easiest, right? Well, the app's easiest. WhysAdvice.com. I don't usually push that link out, but if you go strictly to WhysAdvice.com, every single episode listed, you just hit play. You can certainly find them from fatdag.com as well. So there's plenty of ways to get the content. I want to make sure that wherever you want to hear it, it's available for you to listen at that point. That's kind of the goal. Judy says we talk about Fat Dag in the Seattle meetings. Oh, fun. So I guess that's looking like a rough front runner for 2019, right? Very fun. Let's see, Lee says I can't be in Nottingham, but I'll eat some cream cheese. Yeah, Lee is a wackadoodle. Very fun. Liz says, mention you in my meeting practically every Saturday morning. Oh, well, thank you for that. Liz, where is your meeting? I'd be curious to know what meeting that is. Maybe I'll show up. I don't know. Angela, good night. Heather says, guilty. Have not done my why yet. Not sure I'm ready to face the things I will need to face. I know I need to do it soon, though. Yep. Yeah, I don't know, hey, listen, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a fitness coach. I'm not a I'm not. There's my list of things that I'm not is very, very, very long. But the thing that I know is that you control this journey. Your brain, your mind controls this journey, and I want you to have the opportunity to win. And so the best way, I said this the other night, is the best way is that you can change your entire life is to understand why you're doing it. There are so many ways to be successful. I've said this more than once. Weight Watchers is fantastic, but you heard in this show, Jenny Craig works, Nutrisystem works, the keto diet works, the Atkins diet works. Every single one of them works, and the secret recipe is you. You out there getting it done because you know why you're doing it. And so every time that I ended up gaining weight and rejoining Weight Watchers, it took me a new starting weight to finally break through and go, okay, it's time to join again. I don't want that to happen for anybody else. I lived through that pain so that you don't have to. And so what I've realized through all this process is that at this point in my journey, the only way, if I don't have something to refer back to, the only way I can put myself in that mindset of day one is to either relive it or read about it. So I want you to be able to read about it and not have to relive it. That's why I want you to write it down. And say, yeah, Judy, I don't want to relive it. I don't want you to relive it. There's no reason you should have to relive it. But if you got it written down, you can just open it up and go, oh yeah, I remember that day. That day was terrible. But what happens is you start having success on this program, and really, it doesn't take long. I had members today that did amazing work, and so I asked them, I said, how do you feel? And they say, I feel great. And they're early on in their journey already feeling better. That better feeling starts masking your true reason for wanting to do this, because the reason you walked in day one was you were ready, and then you quickly start feeling better and you forget about day one. Day one will keep you motivated forever. So let's see. Let's see. So I saw something about bummed you're going to be gone September 6th in Carmel. I was going to attend the meeting. Yeah, Debbie, so sorry about that. Yeah, the September 6th meeting, I'll be in New York City filming. So I will have the film the show on September 6th. So that week I will not do Weight Watcher meetings in Indianapolis. So the Tuesday and Thursday meetings I'll be gone for that week. So yeah, but you come some other time. Are you gonna run the race with us? I think, right? Jan said I'd go to Minneapolis from Illinois and international tour. Hint, hint. Got it. Minneapolis, it is. Very fun. Melody says, but you understand this journey. I understand. It's funny. I get that email a lot. I get a lot of email from folks saying, I feel like you understand me. I live this. I'm still living this every single day. I haven't solved anything. I just now have habits that are healthier. I woke up this morning, went for a run because I wanted to. I went to the gym yesterday because I wanted to. And my routine says I do that sort of stuff. But I get this journey because I'm living it. I've said that more than once. My wife is incredible. She's the most amazing person on the planet. She's never had to lose any weight, so she doesn't understand that side of the journey. So as amazing as she is, as supportive as she is, she can only provide support from a lane she understands. And so this lane, I rely on another level of support from you guys. And we rely on it back and forth as a community. And that's the power in all this. So very fun. Instagram, you're going to time out in 49 seconds. So I'm going to lose you. Not going to reboot. We may stay live on Facebook for a couple more minutes or on YouTube. But generally speaking, I'm out. But I just want to say goodbye to everybody here. I want to read through a couple more comments I saw there, and we'll get to them. But Instagram, let's get you guys out of here. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being a great wingman. You know the deal. I wish you incredible focus. So go get it done. Good night. I'll let you time out naturally in 21 seconds. Lynette says, I told people in my meeting about your podcast too, just gave someone the info today. Very cool. Thank you for sharing as well. Debbie says, is Chris subbing? I don't know who actually picked it up. I honestly don't. Lee's got to split, y'all. Good night, Lee. Um, let's see. Yeah, Jesus, it's been too hard for work in progress already. Yeah, writing your why was probably one of the hardest things, but most helpful. I'm considering this will be a Facebook exclusive, right? I'm considering doing on my Mondags, um, one, maybe two actual phone calls where I'll walk you through writing your why. I think that's so important, and I want to give that opportunity back for folks to have the opportunity to just spend an hour on the phone and go, and I'll ask you the 5 questions we talk about. What's the hardest thing you ever done in your life, and what are you hoping to get out of this? What's standing in your way? I'm thinking I want to walk through that in person a few times with people to see if we can really get that going. I'm not going to commit to it at this point, but that's what I'm thinking out loud. I'm trying to figure out, as I try to figure out what the next stage of this is, the number one piece I see people struggling with is I firmly believe the power of this program is you knowing why you're doing this. Most every single show I say write it down. Most every single show I get an email from someone saying, "Hey, Fat Dag, I finally did. I listened to you for so long. I never did until now. I want to, have to, got to find a way to get you to do that part earlier." And so I don't know what that is. And so part of me is thinking, okay, well, do I need to spend an hour on the phone with you? Now, certainly it's going to be hard to spend an hour on the phone with 2 million people. I think it's going to be tough. Um, but if that's what it takes, then just do it, right? So I'm kind of figuring out a way. I don't know yet, so don't hit me up because I just don't know. But that's what's going through my head. This is just me talking out loud to 100 of you. But what I understand is it's so important to get this why written down that I want to what I really want to do is to just sit and walk you through it and then transcribe it and give it back to you in the written form so that you can go, okay, there's my why. I got it written down. So we'll see if I can pull that off or not. It's not going to be easy by any stretch, but I think it's very, very important. Lori says, wrote my why down one time, didn't bring me to tears, not even close. So obviously that wasn't my true story. Lori, it may not bring tears. I mean, I'm not guaranteeing that it will, but I'm guaranteeing that if you write it down and you understand it, it can evolve. And so maybe as you continue to work continue to work and do the amazing work, you'll start developing new whys. And as important as writing down your whys is documenting the non-scale victories that you're having as well. Judy says, I'll be in New York on the 7th, but at the airport. So I'll be in the airport on the 7th as well, I bet. We'll see. Come visit us in Atlanta. It's on the plan. It's working it. Mom says went from 1,688 steps to 3,578 just listening to you tonight. Hi, Mom. Yay, Mom. Renee says best show ever. Whew. Brandy asking, how do you overlook the length of time that your journey will take? Well, Brandy, I hope your journey takes forever. I hope your journey takes another, I don't know how old you are, but I hope your journey takes you into your late 90s, early 100s. The journey does not ever end, and so you're going to want to eat healthy, and be active for the rest of your life. So in that regard, how you get past the amount of time it's going to take is by you waking up saying, I'm better today, I'm more healthy, I'm more fit, and you build on that. And there is no timeline in that regard. You're just taking care of your health. And so there's going to be great days and good days. And so as long as you adopt a healthy lifestyle, there is no end date to that process. You can set up goals along the way, and you should run really hard towards those goals. You should push very hard to get them. But have those goals that are aligned with your end result of living a healthy, happy life. Living a healthy, happy life is the goal, and you have to have something a little more defined than that. Break it up into smaller goals. Those smaller goals have definite end dates as you work through them and get it done. Here's the deal. So I'll just give you the heads up. The plan, there's no guarantee, even though I promised. the plan for Atlanta is the NASCAR race in Atlanta. I have to come to town for the NASCAR race in February. So I'll be there on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I will try and meet up with you on Saturday of the NASCAR weekend. So that is my game plan. I'll share that. So as long as I make it to the race, which is the plan, then I will add in a Saturday to be here with you. Eddie says, I don't know my why. I've tried to figure that out. I just need to know. I need to just. So Eddie, go to episode, what was it, 210 was the one, and listen to the after show. And listen, the after show on Facebook was pretty in depth. Let's see. Lori, I gotcha. Yep, you can. So yeah, you can rewatch this on Facebook tonight. It'll go into YouTube as well. It stays there, so you can rewatch this part anytime. The actual audio of the podcast specifically will go to the app. Every once in a great while, I put the video on Facebook. Episode 210, the video is on my app. You can go there and watch it. Yeah, so I mean, Atlanta. We're going back to the Atlanta conversation. Atlanta is as definite as I can give you this far out. So that's all I can tell you. And now you know the date. So, Melody says, I shared in my meeting that the bigger my body got, the smaller my world became. That made you cry. I get it. Yep. Yeah, it's powerful. Very powerful. Let's see, scrolling through. Happy birthday, Pamela, tomorrow. Woohoo. So Trevor says, then swing up to Raleigh, North Carolina to see us. So the other thing I'm really working on, so I'm working on a show sponsor, or a tour sponsor. So if you know of anyone interested in sponsoring the entire tour, that would be beneficial. I'm obviously got some thoughts in my head, but it's not as simple as just hopping into Raleigh because I'm still working a full-time job. I generally have the weekends. I got to get in on a Friday and home on a Saturday so I can get back to work. And having someone else cover the cost of that travel would make it way more fun. Up to this point, I think I've covered the cost of all of them, and then of course the Patreon community, I use that cost to help do that as well. But it works out okay. It would be way more fun if someone else took care of it for us. Melanie, this is episode 212. Okay, you guys got that. Good work. The cat says, when I wrote my why I cried. I get it. Cheryl, the episode 210 after show, it's in my app. Go to the app, watch the video inside the app, episode 210 called Bonus. You can skip the first hour, maybe. So just take your little finger and drag it down to the first hour and catch the after show of episode 210. It's in the app. Or as Marsha said, it's on YouTube. You can do that as well. Pamela's birthday is tomorrow. Gotcha. So we're going to do a show tomorrow night. That's the plan. So Pamela, if you're here tomorrow night, we'll do a happy birthday tomorrow night. That'll be your clue to get there as well. So cool. All right, let's wrap this up. It's a school night. The plan is going forward. Plan is to do a show tomorrow night. It's already written. 213 is written. 214 is written. So my plan is to do a show tomorrow night, and then on Thursday do another show. Friday off to Philadelphia. Then September 6th up to New York. You know that. And we'll just have a blast. We'll just keep getting it done. So cool. Emma, I agree with you. I don't think the why has to involve tears. If it does bring tears, it's different. It doesn't have to. Some of us are very strong, and sometimes some of us we haven't scratched. Ooh, good focus. That's